Hello, and welcome to Spiritual Inspirations with Malak. Thank you for joining us on this particular broadcast and in this particular topic that we want to talk about today. I want to talk about, is there another explanation for life itself when it comes to humanity, when it comes to being born on this earth and living on this earth, as well as when we leave this earth, when we depart this earth? I know that most of the time we have a religious based answer for these questions. These questions are generally answered by our spiritual leaders or clergy or pastors or bishops or evangelists, these type of people that generally are reading from their holy books or their books that are supposed to be inspired scriptures. And then they are explained to you. Um, so, is there another possibility? Now, when you look at what is factual, what can be proven, because many religious and based understandings and communication is based on faith, it's based on belief. It's about what can you believe and how much faith can you have. When we really look at it, there's no tangible evidence that is presented. Generally, it's connected to real life experiences or scenarios, but there's no factual evidence that is generally presented when we're talking about coming from the religious aspect of understanding. So, it is proven that everything, and it's facts, you can research it, everything in the universe is energy. Everything. There's not a living thing that exists in our universe that is not energy, and those non-living things were produced from energy or with energy. So today we want to look at life itself. I have a few video clips that I'm going to include, things that you can think about, things that you can research and go deeper to find the factual information. One day I was just thinking, okay, the explanation for an individual coming into the earth has always been attributed to a God that is the creator of life, the giver of life, and at the point of what we would call pregnancy, it's like he dispatches a soul to that process, and then the soul is born as a baby. But what if what has been created already holds life in it, and that which has been created is generally carrying out all the energetic processes for life? In other words, it takes a man and a woman coming together to produce a baby. Therefore, what is the effort of a man and a woman having to come together to produce a baby? What is that for? if it's all about a God or a creator dispatching a soul to the earth to bring forth life? Could not he do that without the man and the woman coming together and going through the energetic process to create the baby? So many times we want to believe and think, and you're free to believe and think what you want. We're just presenting another thought process that you could think about. But so many times we believe that this God or this creator or this being is having an interaction, a day-to-day interaction with us, according to religious understanding and religious books, how they communicate. But if you look at the facts, yes, all this had to come from somewhere. The sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the grass, the earth, it had to come from somewhere. But is it possible that the creating force that created everything did and completed the work, and now is sitting outside of the work and allowing the work to run its course and to do the things that was put in the what's the word I want to look at? Look at that's put into the process. That's what I want to say. And that we are carrying out our lives, and we're making choices and decisions, and everything is built within that creation. You make a wrong choice, you get a wrong result. You make a right choice, you get a right result. You do things with wisdom, then things come in a good way. You do things without wisdom, then things don't turn out in the best way. Could it be possible that these things are already within the creation? So that brings me to a child being born. If you go back and you look at the biological makeup of the human being, it takes a sperm from the male and it takes an egg from the woman to come together in order for pregnancy to be initiated.
This is actual footage of the moment life begins. It's called the zinc spark, a burst of light that happens the instant a sperm fuses with an egg. This flash is no coincidence. It's triggered by a sudden surge of calcium inside the egg, releasing millions of zinc ions into the surrounding space, creating this incredible light show. But it's more than just beautiful, it's essential. The brighter the spark, the healthier the egg, a signal of its ability to support life. It also plays a role in protecting the egg, helping to prevent multiple sperm from entering. This is literally the first step in the process that led to you. If life begins with a flash of energy, what does that say about you? Right now, every cell in your body is generating over 1 trillion electrical signals per second, all powered by the same force that lit up the very beginning of your life. It's in every thought, every heartbeat, and every breath that you take. You're more than flesh and blood. You're a walking, living field of energy. So the next time you wonder what you are, remember, you're light, your energy, and it all started with a spark.
Every time you move, think, or feel, you're actually producing electricity. These tiny electrical signals are created when ions, charged particles, move in and out of your cells. This movement generates small electrical charges that travel through your nerves and muscles, powering your body. It's not enough to light a bulb, but without it, you couldn't move a single muscle.
Now, we, in and of ourselves, we are energy. Everything about us is energy. You couldn't breathe without energy. Your brain, you could not think without energy. You could not move your arms or your hands without energy. Your heart doesn't beat without energy. All these different electrical impulses and sparks that are going throughout your body, firing off, allowing us to have what we call mobility. If you were void of energy, you would just lay and you could do nothing. That is why food is needed in order to replenish the energy and fuel the body for continuous energy. The body needs certain things to continue to help it function properly. Food in itself is energy. The plants, as they grow from an energetic process. The sun and water are all energy, producing our food. Therefore, we take the energy in the food into our body and refuel and recharge the body so that the body can continue to function in its vibration and electrical power that is needed in order for us to go about our day-to-day life. You ever come home and you say, I'm so tired, I have no energy. We think we say these words and they really just kind of gloss over. But the reality is your energy is low. And generally, if you get some water, drink some fluids, eat some food, and get proper rest, your energy returns. And you don't need the interaction of a eternal being to come and put food in your mouth or to put a glass of water to your lips. The knowledge and the know-how and the experiences that we have as human beings, this is something that's built within us to seek after, to bring back our energy and the fuel that our body needs. So when the sperm, back to the pregnancy, comes in contact with the egg, how many of you know that there's a process of zinc that is released at the moment the sperm enters the egg? Well, this zinc is found within our food, is found within our bodies because we eat the food, and it's a necessary thing for the sperm and the egg coming together and the entering of the sperm. And what happens when that sperm enters into the egg? An electrical flash of light, looking scientifically at the process of the sperm entering into an egg, you can visually see a spark of light that happens at the beginning and the initiation of what we call life in that embryo. That spark and that light that is scientifically proven has been called in religious circles God, or whatever you call God, placing a soul into the woman for the baby to be born. But I suggest to you that all of that has been done way before we ever came into existence. That energy, that zinc, and that light and that spark at the onset of that sperm entering to the egg is already the life that is now initiated into the pregnancy. That soul that we call it was already there and initiated at the point that coming together and that spark of light and energy took place, initiating the life. That is science. That's scientifically proven, and you can see that if you really want to look deeper into it, you can go and do more research on it. But the reality is, when we understand something, we generally start naming it, and we start trying to put titles on it, and we try to give something or someone the credit for that which most people don't know or understand. And religion has done a phenomenal job in making claims to this point. Now, I am not opposed to the thought of a creator, because these things had to come from somewhere. But the reality of the interactions that religion tried to push, the agenda they push, I don't know that that is provable by facts more than you have to believe it and have faith to take that into your psyche and take that into your spirit. So when you look at that, that's when the process begins. That's when your process began. That's where my process began. We know that you cannot discredit the process, because without a man and a woman coming together in a sexual relationship, the release of the sperm into the woman and the egg being fertilized by that sperm, do we get babies? That is a fact. Now, yes, do they have artificial insemination and all of these things? Yeah, they have gone outside of the natural process, and they have artificial ways of now injecting sperm into the egg and replacing it back into the woman. And they have all those processes. That's how science has actually come to understand and to know that this process of the sperm going into the egg actually gives this zinc energy, or a flash of light at the point of life for that now embryo. And so that's something that one you can look at. And now we have another way that we can look at the process of life that actually confirms everything is energy. We already talked about, as you're living, you're a walking product, or a walking ball of energy. Also, when you depart from this life, there's also scientific proof of a spike in energy at the point of departure. Right before one departs this life, then there is almost like a bell curve of energy. And then at that very moment, there's a huge spike of energy or light that takes place at that time. You can see when it is measured, when they have visual confirmation of light and energy leaving the body. That is why when one has departed, their body temperature falls to what we know as room temperature. For those of us who are still living, when we touch their bodies, we say that they are cold. They're not cold as in freezing. The temperature of the body has now come to what is known as room temperature. Because there's no energy, no electrical impulses, nothing now maintaining the 98 0.6 or 100 degree temperature of life. Once it has departed, immediately the temperature drops to what is the climate of room temperature. These things we have to consider. If you're not convinced that a religious format is what you base your life and your understanding on, but yet you're a spiritual person, look into these things and see if in fact you find factual evidence that shows that energy that is in all of the universe is also in us. So what's in the universe is in you. And you are in the universe. And while you are living, you're moving as the universe. And when you depart back to the universe. Just something to think about. I just want to make you think. Thank you for joining us here at Spiritual Inspirations with Malak. See you the next time.